Rudy Rochman was interviewed by a Jew-for-Jesus, and he shut him down. Check it out.
It's kind of like tricking to make Jews see like, oh, it's our Messiah. But it's actually the Messiah for the world that you're projecting, and you're telling Jews to feel like, oh, he's mine too.
So you don't see Christian as anything to do with Judaism, has anything to do with the Jewish people?
No, what do you mean by a Christian?
Christianity.
Someone who believes in Jesus?
Yeah.
That should not be involved with the Jewish people.
Not at all.
No.
It's a Christian YouTube channel where we promote Jewish faith in Jesus.
Well, I'm very much so against that.
Yeah, how come?
Because as a people, we're against idolatry.
Yes.
And believing in Christianity and trying to get Jews to Christianity is sort of spiritually destroying us.
How so?
And because you think he's God, of course, that's your opinion. He thinks he's the Messiah,
Yeah.
and I don't see it as that. The Jewish people don't see it as that. So bring
a
this.
lot do actually.
Some very small percentage, and of course, there's Jews who are against Israel as well. The fact that there's Jews that believe in that doesn't make it right or wrong.
Right.
But the majority of us throughout history
Right.
have rejected to be converted to Christianity or to Islam, and I think that the Jews-for-Jesus movement is trying to make Christianity kosher for Jews and sucking them out of where they're from and bring them to Christianity.
Even though Jews for Jesus believes that Jesus is the Jewish Messiah, so it's a natural progression.
See, like saying stuff like that is kind of like tricking to make Jews see like, oh, it's our Messiah. But it's actually the Messiah for the world that you're projecting, and you're telling Jews to feel like, oh, he's mine too.
Yeah, but Jews are part of the world.
For sure. But
Yes.
you like specifically choose language to make Jews feel comfortable with a message that is very foreign to us and very destructive to us.
What do you mean by us?
Us as Jews. You're a
We're
Jew,
Jews, yeah.
right? So I'm saying us. I'm considering you as my
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Even though we disagree on this
I
thing.
appreciate that.
We're still family. We're still brothers.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh no, that's what I want.
I'm gonna be
That's what
honest
I
with you.
want. That's what I want. Have you studied have you ever read the New Testament?
I've read several portions.
Okay.
I would bring all your viewers to Rav Tuvia Singer,
Yeah.
which I think is
I've
the gadol on this topic, and he breaks down many things.
Even though he disagrees with a lot of the sages?
Which stages?
The sages, Rambam,
disagree with the sages?
that he says that the Jewish people are the nation of that Isaiah prophesies, that the suffering servant is the people of Israel,
Yeah.
and that the sages, our Jewish sages, actually mention that this is talking about Messiah.
I think
as
Mashiach is
Messiah.
a generation, not a person. I think it's the accomplishment of a generation, not a person that's going to come and save the day. And definitely not Jesus, who passed away, Zichrono Levacha, as a fellow Jew that died,
Right.
but is not a Messiah. For
Even though he rose from the grave.
that's what you believe. There's
true.
no proof of that. I respect your right to believe
But
that.
actually, I want to talk about one of the things you said, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me,
course,
bro.
of
I really
course.
appreciate it, and I love what you do out here.
Yeah.
You said that Jewish believers in Jesus choose words to trick people.
Yes.
We're actually living out our faith.
Of course, you're living it out, but I'm saying that you guys cater your message to Jews to get them to connect to a Christian message that if it was just straight up, just follow Jesus, they would reject it.
So you don't see Christian as anything to do with Judaism, as anything to do with the Jewish people?
No, what do you mean by a Christian?
Christianity.
Someone who believes in Jesus?
Yeah.
That should not be involved with the Jewish people.
Not at all.
No.
Even though Jesus was Jewish, his followers were Jewish.
Abraham's mission was to smash the idols, and you're bringing the idols into our house.
But how do you see it as idol worship?
Because if you believe that a man is a god or that a man is a Messiah that clearly wasn't, there's many things that the Mashiach would have to do that none of them Jesus did.
Oh, he did plenty.
Bring the tribes back, bring peace to the world.
Yes, but as you know
things.
these things, that God reveals himself. He progressively reveals himself over time. He doesn't drop the entire.
This is the Mashiach will do that. And
That's
Jesus
right, and he
didn't
will
that.
do it.
Okay, that's your belief. But
Yeah,
you could understand why me, who knows Jesus didn't do that at that time, and you would agree with me that he didn't do that at that time, how could you be seen as a Mashiach?
Because he did fulfill prophecy.
Which prophecy did he fulfill?
Well, he was supposed to be born in Bethlehem.
Okay, so there's many people born in different places. There's many people who
Yeah, but this is one.
But none of them are like actual
He was supposed to
tangible
come before the
proof.
destruction of the second temple,
Okay.
according to Daniel 9, verses 24 to 27.
Okay.
Tribe of Judah.
Okay, all of our tribe is the tribe of Judah. The fact that you're giving me that shows that there's actually no foundation and basis, in my opinion, respectfully, as a brother to brother.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I look at Christianity as a belief in idolatry. At least they're believing in one idol and not
Right.
many idols.
But you see
So
that-
it's already
you see that
better
the-
than polytheism.
The world, like Jesus, has brought the recognition of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to the world. And through Abraham, you mentioned Abraham. God told Abraham that he would make him, through his seed, a great nation, and that he would be a blessing to the entire world.
Sure, I agree with
and that's what I believe, that our Jewish people were on this earth to make God known
Yeah.
to creation, and that God actually has a plan for the Gentiles as well as the Jewish people.
That I'll agree, but I'll tell you this, right? Someone can say the same thing and trying to bring us to worship Satan. right?
Yeah.
And say, well, we brought Satan, but also through Satan, we also brought all these other nice things.
Yeah.
And so it's legitimate because they brought all those other nice things. So that argument to me doesn't hold water. For me, I believe that God is not one person, it's oneness. The infinite universe, time, space, everything is one Hashem. When we say Shema Yisrael Adonai Lanu, Adonai Echad, we say God is one, not there is one God. So I believe in panentheism, right? And I think that Jesus was a leader of his time, whether it was good or bad, none of us were there. You believe it was good, I don't know, right? He could have been a great guy. He clearly was a rebel of some kind. He didn't like the status quo. He wanted to change things up, that's no doubt, right? He was a disturber of the Roman peace, which I support, right? Because the Romans were colonizing our civilization. But at the end of the day, he was killed. And once he passed away, we need to move on. And I think that a lot of the world took his life and turned him into a deity, which is why I see it as idolatry. And I think, in my opinion, even though I love you as my brother, I think it's extremely harmful to bring these ideas for which so many Jews were burned resisting. And now you're bringing it back to us.
No, that's not true, because you can't judge a faith by its abuse. And if you know the teachings of Jesus, you would realize that it would lead to the loving of the entire world. It would lead to forgiving your enemies.
Yeah, but healing them, not just forgiving them.
Absolutely.
You have to help them heal from the situation. So for sure, I look at those who adopted Christianity over time, mostly by force, and realize that I'm not going to go and hate them and fight them. I should show them that Hashem is one, and there's no intermediary thing in between us that should disconnect us from
But
Hashem.
the intermediary thing has been a Jewish thing since the beginning of time. Well, Moses was an intermediary. The high priest,
but no one was praying to
no,
Moses.
the people
they were not praying to Moses.
But the people at Mount Sinai were not telling Moses, "Yo, we got this. We don't need you." They were trembling in fear. You go up on our behalf.
There's no problem with having a leader. No one is saying it's not a leader. But when you pray to Hashem, there should be nothing disconnecting from Hashem. There should not be a Mary, a saint, a Joseph,
and I agree with you.
Or a Jesus preventing us from getting. Now you agree with me because you see Jesus as God. Right. So for you that's God, but I disagree. So you'd understand why. For me,
totally,
it's a lie.
Absolutely. But have you noticed in the Tanakh that occasionally you'll see a figure that appears in human form talking with Abraham, Jacob, Gideon, Manoah, in a human form, eating with them, having his feet washed, walking from place to place, speaking as the first person as God, and doing things that only God can do. Jacob says, "I've seen God face to face, and my life has been delivered." They were expecting to die when they saw God.
You're assuming he saw Jesus.
I didn't say Jesus.
No,
I just said God, a physical manifestation of God.
Doesn't mean you need to see a physical thing. You can see in many ways. You can see someone's actions. You can see someone's spirit.
I'm just going by what the text says.
So you're translating it literally, and I think a lot of Christians, maybe not you because you're a Jew, they translate it through the English mistranslations, and they interpret things with different words that were used at different times. So I hope that you're using the Hebrew.
Yes, we study in Hebrew in Israel.
So I hope that you're using the actual original Hebrew and getting to the conclusions through the Hebrew and not through the others, because then of course you're already using.
Yeah, but I do agree though that you can have good translations, because otherwise God would be saying like a lot of Muslims will say you can't come to God without knowing Arabic. You can't understand our faith. I don't either. I don't either.
But you can have a Tanakh that's properly translated from our Hebrew and from our sages, and not take it from Christians.
Yes, but you have Tanakh that's translated from Hebrew to Aramaic, from Greek to Hebrew.
It depends who's doing the translation. If the people who preserve the Torah, who kept on the scepter as Yehuda was supposed to keep the scepter, and not from the outside, then obviously from the outside it's going to be a little bit corrupt and most likely intentionally corrupted to fulfill agendas. So I think the translations need to come from our people, me and you. There are those translations that exist. And again, I respect your right to do what you want. I still see you my brother, but I hope that you will do a tikkun and ridding yourself of idolatry and come back to Hashem, because Hashem is one. It doesn't have to be other things as well.
Rudy, thanks, bro. Of course. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and hearing my
and you should know it's
perspective.
all love. It's all love.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Love you, bro.
You too.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Great job by Rudy Rochman, not only for just shutting him down, but also sort of being very, very polite in shutting him down. Like, you're wrong, but I'm not going to sort of get you to a point where now you hate Jews or you have a problem with us. Convincing someone without pissing them off is a very, very hard skill, and Rudy Rochman does it best. For more, subscribe to this channel, Jewish Uncensored. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Jewish Uncensored.